Hello students, welcome to Boundless Maths, where we nurture and learn mathematics beyond boundaries. In today's video, we are going to cover the topic numerical inequalities as part of CBSE Class 12 Applied Maths curriculum. Questions have been picked up from the CBSE handbook, CBSE sample papers and even the PYQs to give you a comprehensive coverage of all kinds of questions for the topic numerical inequalities. Watch the video till the end to understand the different kinds of questions that you can get for this topic. So before we start solving the questions, let's first understand the basic terms and notations that we use while solving questions related to numerical inequalities. Now we have been solving algebraic equations since grade 6 and we understand how to solve an algebraic equation. For example, 2x plus 5 equals 17. We transpose terms from left to right or right to left and then find the exact value of x that would conform to this equation. So in this case, the value of x comes out to be 6. We have an exact answer here. Now suppose in place of equality or equation, this question was 2x plus 5 greater than 17. So again we solve it in the similar way. 17 minus 5 becomes 12 and the value of x is greater than 6. Now here we don't have just one exact answer. All the numbers, all the values greater than 6 on the number line, they are part of the solution for this. So we write it as 6 till infinity. This is the solution for the inequality. So inequalities involving only numbers, not variables. For example, square root 5 plus square root 3 is greater than square root 6 plus square root 2. Now this is an inequality which does not have any variable, so this is called a numerical inequality. There is another term called strict inequalities where we have less than or greater than sign, and slack inequalities are the inequalities where we have less than equal to or greater than equal to sign. So these are the basic terms that we will come through while solving questions. Now let's see how to write the solution when we have x as belonging to the set of natural numbers represented by n, whole numbers by w, integers is capital I or even z. So when we have a question where we have to solve an inequality and x belongs to any of these sets, then our solution is written using curly brackets with a collection of objects enclosed in that. For example, if x lies between 2 and 7, then the solution set for this inequality will be, how do we write the answer? It is going to be 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 because it is inclusive, so we write this. So we use curly brackets when we have to write collection of objects as a solution. When we have to write the entire interval, for example, x belongs to the set of real numbers. Again, the range is same. 2 is less than x is less than equal to 7. So we write it as 2, 7. On the side of 2, we don't have equal to sign, so open interval. On the side of 7, we have equal also, so it is close interval denoted by a square bracket. If it was equal to here also, then it will be 2, 7 and square brackets on both the ends. So these basics we have already done in class 11. So now let's come to properties of inequalities. If we add, subtract, multiply or divide any positive real number to both sides of the inequality, it remains the same. Same with algebraic equations. But if you multiply or divide by a negative number, then the sign flips. If it is greater than, it becomes less than. If it is less than, it becomes greater than. So let's understand this by a small example. For example, 5 is greater than 3. We understand this, right? Now suppose I multiply both the sides by minus 1. It becomes minus 5 here and minus 3 here. Which is bigger now? Minus 3 is definitely bigger than minus 5. So that means the sign flips if you multiply both sides of the inequality by a negative number. It could be minus 1, minus 5, minus 2, any negative number, but the sign will flip. The last property is for numerical inequalities, if x is greater than y, then definitely x square will be greater than y square and vice versa also. So we'll understand this better when we solve questions related to this. So let's start solving questions. The first question is, prove that the inequality holds true. Square root 5 plus square root 3 greater than square root 6 plus 2. If you observe, 5 plus 3 is 8 and 6 plus 2 is also 8. Anyways, let's solve this question. So let's assume that the left side is denoted by x and right side is denoted by y. So if you find x square it will be 5 plus 3 plus 2 square root of 5 3 is 15. So this becomes 8 plus 2 square root 15. And if you find y square, it will be 6 plus 2 square root 12. So that becomes 8 plus 2 square root 12. Now if you compare these two values, which of these is bigger? Obviously 8 plus 2 square root 15 is bigger, because 8 plus is same, 2 is also same. So this is bigger. Now because x square is bigger than y square, so that means x is greater than y, and hence the given inequality is proved. Done? So this question was there in this year's sample paper. So you might get a similar question on numerical inequalities. So let's understand and see how to solve another question where we have to insert appropriate sign in this inequality. So again, let the left side be x is equal to square root 3 square root 50 minus square root 32. Squaring both sides, we get 3 square is 3, a minus b whole square, it becomes a square plus b square minus 2ab. 32 into 5 is 1600. Okay. So square root of 1600 is 44 to the 8, 80. So that means 3 into 2, 6. Let the right side be equal to y. So this means y is equal to 3 square root 54 plus 2 square root 24. Again, squaring both sides gives you 9 into 54 plus 2 square is 4 into 24 plus 3 to the 6, 6 to the 12 into square root of 54 into 24. Let's solve this further and find the final answer. Definitely it will be more than 6. But still we need to show the entire calculation. So this is 486 plus 96 plus you get 1296 here, and the square root will be 36. So 36 into 12 becomes 432. And when you add all these numbers, you get 1014. Now, as you can clearly see that y square is greater than x square, that means y will be greater than x. So the right side is greater, so we have less than sign here in this numerical inequality. Understood? Okay, so now let's move to how to solve algebraic inequalities. The first one is here, very easy. 4x minus 2 less than 8. Just solve it as you solve any algebraic equation, just by transposing. So x is less than 10 by 4. That means x is less than 5 by 2, which is 2.5. Now you have to write the answer for all the three cases where x belongs to integers. So what all integers are less than 2.5? So we'll write the solution set using curly brackets from minus infinity dot 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 till minus 1, 0, 1 and till 2. So this is the solution set. Now the second part says if x is a natural number is less than 2.5. So we have only 1 and 2 in the solution set. Third says real numbers. So all the real numbers less than 2.5. So how do we write? It is minus infinity till till 5 by 2 with a square bracket because it is only, with a circular bracket because it is only less than. Clear? Okay, great. So let's move to the next question. Minus 2z minus 6 less than 10. So keep minus 2z here, less than 10 plus 6, which is 16, minus 2z less than 16. Now here we need to divide by a negative number on both the sides. So be very careful. When you divide both sides by minus 2, you get z less than becomes greater than 16 by minus 2. So that means z is greater than minus 8. How do you write this in terms of intervals? Now x is greater than minus 8. That means it is going to be from minus 8 till infinity. Because there is no equal to sign, so it is circular bracket here. Let's solve the next one. Take the LCM first. Y minus 1 plus 4 3 is 12 less than y minus 5 to the 10 upon 5. So it is y plus 11 upon 3 less than y minus 15 upon 5. Cross multiply, it becomes 5y plus 55 less than 3y minus 45. 5 minus 3 is 2y, 2y less than minus 100. So that means y is less than minus 50. So we solved it as we solve any algebraic equation, nothing different. But how to write the answer? You should write the answer appropriately, minus infinity till minus 50, because it is not just one value that is the answer, it is a range of values. So minus 50 is not included, circular bracket there. Let's move to the next question. If x is greater than y and z is less than 0, z is less than 0 means it is negative. Now be careful, when we multiply divide by a negative number, the sign flips. So let's look at all the options. Xz greater than yz, no, because the sign is same. Greater than equal to, no. X upon z greater than y upon z, no, the sign is still the same. Here the sign flips, so option D is the correct answer. Next, if A is greater than B and C is less than 0, then which of these options is correct? Now when we add or subtract any negative number, there is no impact on the sign. So no flipping of sign if you add or subtract any negative number. C is less than 0 means C is negative. So if I add C to both the sides, the sign will not change. Which of these is correct? Option A is correct. If A and B are positive integers and A minus B upon 6.25 is equal to 8 upon 2.5, that means let's solve it first. A minus B is equal to 8 upon 2.5 into 6.25. Now as we know, 625 is square of 25. So this will get cancelled, 2.5 here, and A minus B comes out to be 20. So that means A is B plus 20. So that means A is bigger than B for sure. So this means option B is the correct answer. Next is solve this inequality. Now here we have two unequal signs. One is less than, one is less than equal to. When we have such an inequality, split it into two inequalities, the left two conditions and the right two conditions, solve both the inequalities, and the common solution for both the options gives you the solution of the entire inequality. So let's solve them separately. 2a less than a minus 4 and a minus 4 less than or equal to 3a plus 8. 2a minus a becomes a less than minus 4. 3a minus a becomes 2a, and we have minus 4 and minus 8 becomes minus 12. So a is bigger than minus 6. Now for writing the final solution, let's try to represent both these solutions on the number line. A is less than minus 4 means we have minus 4 here. So all the values less than minus 4 are a solution. Next solution we got was a is greater than or equal to minus 6. So that means if we have minus 6 here, a is greater than or equal to minus 6. That means it is on the right side. Less than minus 4 means this is an open end. Greater than or equal to minus 6 means this is a closed end. So how do we write? What are the common solutions? What is the final solution? This is the interval that is common between both the solutions. So how do we write that? First write both the ends. That means minus 6 and minus 4. Now which bracket we need to use? Because this is open-ended, so a circular bracket here, minus 6 is inclusive. So that means closed bracket here. So this is the answer for this question. It is in the range minus 6 to minus 4, where minus 6 is included. Let's solve the next one. Now again we have two inequalities here. We can split it into two and solve them separately and then find the common solution. Okay, so let's cross multiply. Again it is same the way you solve any algebraic equation. 3x plus 3. So that means 3x is 4 minus 3. This becomes 1. So x is greater than or equal to 1 by 3. Let's look at the other inequality. It is 3x plus 3 less than or equal to 6. 3x is less than or equal to 6 minus 3 is 3. X is less than or equal to 1. So these are the two solutions that we got, and we need to club them together to get the final solution. So let's look at on the number line, where is 1 by 3 is here, 1 is here, 0 is here. Okay, we don't need exact plotting. So x is less than or equal to minus, s is less than or equal to 1 by 3. So that means this area on the number line for the first inequality. Second, x is less than 1. X is less than 1 means the area from this. This is the solution space. So what is the common area? So what is the area that is common between both these solutions? X is greater than, x is greater than, that means this blue line is going to go towards the right. X is greater than, not less than. So x is greater than 1 by 3, greater than equal to, closed end, and this is 1 by 3. So now where is the solution? Solution is a common area between them. This is this area. And how do we write it? If now you look at both the ends, it is 1 by 3 and 1. But how do we write? What brackets? 1 is closed. It is there as part of the second solution and the end is closed. So you use square brackets. 1 by 3 is also closed. So that means this is the final solution of this inequality. Understood? Great. So let's move to the next question. Solve the inequalities. Now here you are given two different inequalities. It is as good as the way we have done the last two questions where we separated and created two inequalities. Here we are already given two different inequalities. So let's solve them separately. This is the first one. Take the LCM of the first side. Minus 8 minus x less than or equal to 1 plus x upon 3. Cross multiply. 4 plus 3 becomes 7x, minus 24 and minus 4 becomes minus 28, less than or equal to, okay, 4 plus 4x, and it is minus 24 minus 3x. So bring 3 plus 4, 7. So that means 7x is greater than or equal to minus 28. So let's bring this 7 to the other side. It becomes minus 28 by 7. So x is greater than or equal to minus 4. Let's just have a look at it and see if we have solved it correctly. Minus 28 and okay. So x is greater than or equal to minus 4. Fine. Now let's solve the second part, second inequality. 3 minus x less than 4x minus 3. So it is 3 minus x less than 4x minus 4, 3 is a 12. Take x to the other side, it becomes 4x plus x, that is 5x, and this is 3 plus 12 becomes 15. So that means x is greater than 3. Now on the number line, let's plot both the conditions. X is greater than 3. So all the numbers greater than 3 are part of the solution. And x is less than or equal to minus 4. Hope we have not made any mistake here. It is 4 to the 8 minus 8 and minus x minus 24, and this minus 3x, 4 plus 4x, anyway 7. 7 4 is 20. So it is minus 4 and left side. So minus 4 will be somewhere here and then towards left. So that means there is no solution for this inequality. So an inequality may have infinite solutions, it may have no solution. So it all depends what kind of conditions are given to you. Okay, I made a mistake here. It is x is greater than minus 4, not less than minus 4. That means here it will be x is greater than minus 4. So this is the solution area. So that means the common area is from here till here. This is the common area that we have. And how to write this? 3 and the other end is infinity. So that means it is more than 3. Is it inclusive of 3? No. So this is the final solution, 3 till infinity. So interval from 3 to infinity. Okay, next question. Find all pairs of consecutive odd positive integers, both of which are larger than 10 such that their sum is less than 40. So let the two consecutive odd positive integers, let the integers be x and x plus 2. Please write complete statement. What is x? Before you even start using x, always make it a point to write what is x. So the question says both of which are larger than 10. So x is also greater than 10. and when x is greater than 10, definitely x plus 2 will be greater than 10, and their sum is less than 40. So that means x plus 2 is less than 40. So this is 2x plus 2 is less than 40, 2x is less than 38, x is less than 19. Now we have x less than 19 and x greater than 10. So that means what are the possible values for x from 10 till 19? So we have 11, 13, 15 and 17. These are the odd numbers in this range. So the question says find all pairs. So we have to write the proper answer. 11, 13 could be one pair, second could be 13 and 15, next could be 15 and 17, and the last one could be 17 and 19. 19 is equal to this, but x is within that range. So 17 is an acceptable value for x and the pairing number would be 19. So we have 4 pairs of such numbers and these are the numbers. Next question. The marks obtained by Ragini in the first 2 UTs are 75 and 70. Find the number of minimum marks she should get in the third UT to have an average of at least 60 marks. So how do we find average? Again, start with x. What is x? Let the marks scored in the third UT be x. So the average is 75 plus 70 plus x upon 3, and this should be at least 60. So this has to be greater than or equal to 60. So let's solve this. So when we solve this, we get the value of x as greater than or equal to 35. So that means she needs to score at least 35 marks to get an average of 60. A man wants to cut 3 lengths from a single piece of cardboard of length 91 centimeter. The second length is to be 3 centimeter longer than the shortest, and the third is to be twice as long as the shortest. So let's assume the first one is the shortest and there is second block and there is third block. So it says the second length is 3 centimeter longer than the shortest. So this is x, this will be x plus 3, and the third is twice as long as the shortest. So this is 2x. Sum of all these would be less than or equal to 91 for sure, because this is the maximum length that is possible. What are the possible lengths for the shortest board if the third piece is to be at least 5 centimeter longer than the second? So that means the first condition will create by adding all these, this has to be less than or equal to 91, and the last statement says that the third piece has to be at least 5 centimeter more than the second. So that means this 2x has to be at least 5 centimeter more than the length of second, which is x plus 3. So we have 2 inequalities. Now we need to solve both the inequalities and find a common solution. So from the first one we have 2x plus x becomes 4x plus 3 less than or equal to 91. Let's solve this. 91 minus 3, 88. X is less than or equal to 22. We got one of the solutions. Let's solve the second inequality. 2x is greater than or equal to x plus 8. 2x minus x, x is greater than or equal to 8. So x is greater than or equal to 8 and less than or equal to 22. Don't leave it here again. Write the proper solution, write the proper answer statement that the length of the shortest piece could be from anything more than or equal to 8 centimeter and less than or equal to 22 centimeter, because the question says what are the possible lengths for the shortest board. So you just need to find x, not the length of all the 3 boards. So if that is needed, you can anyway find the second and third board also. Okay, next question. How many liters of water will have to be added to 1125 liters of a 45% solution of acid so that the resulting mixture will contain more than 25% and less than 30% of the acid content? Now let x liters of water to be added. Always start your answer from here. What is x? Now according to the question, what is given to you? If you add x liters to 1125 liters, what will be the total amount of liquid? It is going to be 1125 plus x. Now the concentration of this has to be between 25 and 30% of the solution. So that means how do we create the inequality? In the center, write what you have. What you have means you have 45% solution of 1125 liters, 45% solution. So let's write this 45% of 1125. This is what you had. Now after adding water, water is, you don't know how much you are adding. So after adding water, the concentration has to be between 25% and 30%. So this becomes 25% of 1125 plus x, and this becomes 30% of 1125 plus x, because this is the final solution quantity 1125 plus x. So now this concentration lies between 25 and 30%. So this is how we write the inequality. And now how do we solve it? Let's remove the percent sign from here also. It is upon 100. Don't complicate and solve all the three parts separately. Now here understand how to make it faster. If you cancel 100 from all these, you can cancel like this. If you look at the numerators, all are multiples of 5. So you can cancel them by 5 also. So you get 5 into 1125 plus x less than equal to 5 9s is 45, 9 into 1125, and this is less than equal to 5 6s is 30, 1125 plus x. Now let's solve both these inequalities separately. So what do we get? This is 5625 plus 5x less than, so concentration should, anyways, let's do it. 9 into 1125 is 10125, and the second inequality will be 10125 less than 6 into 1125 is, it will be 6750 plus 6x. Let's find the x value of x from both the sides. So we have 5x less than 4500, x less than 900 here, and the second inequality gives you 3375 less than 6x. So that means x is greater than 562.5. So that means the value of x is more than 562.5 and less than 900. Please write this as a proper statement for the final answer. The question said how many liters of water would be added so that the resulting mixture contains more than 25 and less than 30% of acid. So here you should use only greater than or less than sign for the inequality. No equal to is here because it says it is less than 30 and more than 25. So no equal to in the inequalities. Fine. So this is your final answer, which you need to write in the form of a statement. So the amount of water to be added lies in this range. Write proper answer statement with proper unit liters here. Otherwise you lose half mark there. Next question. All manufacturing has 600 liters of 12% solution of an acid. How many liters of 30% acid solution must be added to it so that the acid content in the resulting mixture is more than 15 and less than 18. Now this question is little different from the above because here you are given some concentration of the solution that you are adding to it. Originally it was 12% solution of 600 liters and you are adding 30% solution to it. In the previous question you added only water. So no concentration was there for x that was added. Now here again start with x. What is x? Let x be the x liters be the amount of 30% solution that is added. So what will be the concentration? It is 12% of 600. This was the original solution you had. In this you have added 30% solution. How much? X liters. So 30% of x liters. This is what you have now. And this concentration or this percentage concentration of this solution is more than 15%. So it is 15% of 600 plus x and less than 18% of, again it is 600 plus x. Right? So make the inequality equation very carefully. Now let's remove this percentage sign and try to simplify. No need to calculate all the parts separately and waste your time. So be smart. Let's see how to do the calculations in an easier way here. No cancellations, no calculations. So we've just written the inequation as it is. Now you can cancel 100 from all of these. If you look at it, 100 is there in all of these. So you can cancel this 100, 100, 100, 100. From the middle block, you have actually taken 1 by 100 common out and then cancelled throughout. And if you look at the numerators, 3 is also common factor. So eventually we'll have 5 into 600 plus x less than 4 into 600 plus 10 into x less than 6 into 600 plus x. So if you look at this, it looks little better to solve this because there are no fractions involved now. So let's solve the first two parts and find what is the solution. 5 6 are 30. This becomes 3000 plus 5x less than 6 4 are 2400. That means 5x is less than 600. Okay. That means 5x, and we have we have this 10x also here on the right side. So we have 10x plus 10x here. So 5x, bring 5x to the right side. So we'll have constants on the left. So 3000 minus 2400 is 600, less than 10 minus 5 is 5x. Okay, so x is greater than 5, x is greater than 120. So this is what we get from the left side. Now let's solve the right side of this inequality equation, what we have. So it will be solving this part. So 6 4s are 2400 plus 10x less than 6 6 are 3600 plus 6x. 10x minus 6x is 4x less than 3600 minus 2400. That comes out to be 1200. That means x is less than 300. Now we have x greater than 120 and x less than 300. So if we write them together, x lies in this range. So you need to add at least 120 liters of that 30% solution, and maximum you can add 300, just less than 300. So the range is between, you write the answer statement as the 30% solution to be added can be in the range 120 liter to 300 liter, or more than 120 liter and less than 300 liters, because there is no equal to here, right? Okay, so let's move to the next question. Satyarth and Swarit are brothers. Satyarth owns a house which is worth rupees 3 crores and Swarit owns a house, farmhouse which is 2.75, but Satyarth has a debt of rupees 55 lakhs. Okay, if they both sell their properties, then which of the following statement holds true? Very easy theoretical question, you'll say. Satyarth's net worth is more than Swarit's net worth. What is Satyarth's net worth? It is rupees 3 crore. Now because he has a debt of rupees 55, so if you subtract rupees 55 lakh from this, so this is lakhs and this is crore. So when you subtract this, comes out to be rupees 2.45 crores. And the net worth of Swarit is 2.75 crores. So this is not more, it is less. So this statement is false. Swarit's net worth is more than Satya's net worth. Yes, this statement is true. Last one, 2.45 is less than 2.75. Definitely this statement is also true. So you had to just tell which of these are true. Next question. This is a very different question. It was there in this year's CBSE sample paper, and there is a trick to solve it faster. So let's understand. So you are given some range for values of k, p and m, and you need to find which of these inequalities is always valid. Now if you look at all these inequalities, it is trying to have some value of limit on the value of k minus p upon m. So all these inequalities have a less than sign. So that means if you try to find the maximum value possible for this fraction, you will get your answer. So to have this as maximum, k should have a maximum value, p should have the lowest possible value, so that the least is subtracted, and the denominator should also be least. So as per what is given in the question, what is the maximum value of k? 21. Lowest value possible for p is 9, and the lowest possible value for m is 3. 21 minus 9 is 12, and 12 by 3 gives you 4. So that means which of these is true? Option B is the correct answer. So it's not always that you have to solve the question to get to the solution, but at times you have to use certain strategies to solve such questions. Next, now let's look at inequalities involving arithmetic mean and geometric mean. Now we have done arithmetic mean, geometric mean in grade 11 also. So what is the relation? AM is average of the two numbers. That means A plus B by 2, and geometric mean is square root of AB. If there are three numbers, then the arithmetic mean is given by a plus b plus c by 3, and the geometric mean is cube root of a, b, c. If we look at the difference between am and gm, a plus b by 2 minus square root of ab, and we simplify this, we get a relation which is always true, that the arithmetic mean is always greater than the geometric mean. There could be a question related to arithmetic and geometric mean also. So let's have a look at some of the questions that are very important for this. Now you are given two numbers 16 and 4. You need to show that these satisfy this numerical inequality. That means what are the arithmetic mean of these two numbers will be 16 plus 4 by 2, that means 20 by 2, which comes out to be 10, and the geometric mean is going to be 16 into 4 and square root of this, which comes out to be 8. So certainly arithmetic mean is greater than the geometric mean. So that means it is proved. Easy? Okay. Next question, if x, y, z are positive real numbers, then find the least value of the given expression. Now, if you have such a question, always think of what are these products representing. How can you derive expressions and create this expression, the entire expression that is given to you in the question. So x plus y, if I try to find and relate the arithmetic mean of x plus y with the geometric mean, I might get something for x plus y. Similarly, y plus z and z plus x. So let's write the arithmetic mean of x plus y, that means x plus y upon 2, and the geometric mean will be square root of xy. Now as per the generic relation we have, the arithmetic mean is always bigger than the geometric mean. That means x plus y upon 2 is greater than equal to square root of xy, and this also means x plus y is greater than equal to 2 square root xy. So this is the first equation. Similarly, when we relate y and z, we get y plus z greater than 2 square root of yz. This is equation 2, and again z plus x is greater than equal to 2 square root of zx. This is equation number 3. Now the given expression is product of all the sides, all the left sides of these inequalities. So if you multiply 1, 2 and 3, what do you get on the left side? X plus y, y plus z and z plus x, and all these, the products will be greater than equal to the product of whatever you have on the right side. 2, 4, 8. 8 into square root of x square, y square, z square greater than equal to 8xyz. So that means that this is the least possible value. The product of these three expressions is going to be bigger than 8 into x into y into z. So the question was to find the least value. So this is the least value. Now there is another similar question, last one for AM and GM, don't worry. So let's have a look at it. Again, you are given product of two brackets. So let's assume if the three numbers are A, B, C, what will be their arithmetic mean? The arithmetic mean is going to be A plus B plus C upon 3, and this is greater than equal to cube root of A, B, C. Here be careful, it is cube root and it is 1 by 3 on the left side. So this becomes A plus B plus C greater than equal to 3 cube root of A, B, C. Let's look at the second bracket. If we have three numbers AB, BC and CA, their arithmetic mean will be greater than their geometric mean. Cube root of AB into BC into CA. So let's get the expression for AB plus BC plus CA. Now if we multiply both these inequalities, we get what was given in the question. A plus B plus C into AB plus BC plus CA, and this is greater than equal to, product of these two will be 3 into 3 is 9, and then cube root of A into A square becomes A cube, B cube, C cube. So that means this is greater than equal to 9 ABC. So this is the least value that is possible for the product of whatever is given in the two brackets. So if you have a question related to AM and GM, just always remember AM is always greater than equal to GM. Arithmetic mean is always bigger than the geometric mean. Okay, now let's move to inequalities involving modulus functions. This is one of the very important part of this chapter because there have been questions in the sample paper and in the PYQs related to modulus. So please understand this very carefully. How do we define a modulus function? Modulus function, this is the definition of modulus function. It returns the same number. If it is a positive number, it returns the same number. If it is a negative number, then it returns negative of negative, that is making it positive. So it always returns you a positive value. So for example, it is -2, it will negate it again and always return you +2. So modulus function, how it gives you always a positive value is, it returns x if x is positive, it returns -x if x is negative. So this was the basic definition. Now let's look at the properties of modulus function. The modulus is always positive. It is symmetric about 0. Multiplicative property, modulus of two numbers is equal to the product of their modulus, independent modulus. Then similarly, division property also, x upon y, modulus of this is equal to mod of x upon mod of y, provided y is not equal to 0. Squaring and modulus, we have used similar property for solving numerical inequalities already. So x is less than y means x square is less than y square. So here we just have the modulus symbols now with x and y. Now very important, triangle inequality. You have done this in lower grades, that the sum of two sides of a triangle should always be greater than the third side. Yes, so if there is a triangle OA and OB, this is represented by x mod x and this is represented by y. So if you want to go from A to B, you go like this, A, O and then OB. So the distance traveled is x mod of x plus mod of y. So sum of these two sides will always be greater than the third side, which is the shortest distance between A and B. So this inequality we have already learned in geometry in lower grades now, but how do we write it in terms of inequalities is mod of x plus y is less than equal to modulus of x plus modulus of y. Please focus here, it's very important to understand this triangle inequality and the reverse triangle inequality. You might get an MCQ here. What is reverse triangle inequality? Now here it was the sum of x plus y. Here if you have difference of x minus, if you have x minus y here, mod of x minus y, the sign is still the same, less than equal to. And mod of x plus y was there on the right side. Now here also still it is mod of x plus mod of y. Now you must be wondering, it is an editing error or what? Why it is plus? It should be minus. No, it should not be minus. It should be plus. The right part of both the inequalities is same. Only the left part is different. Please remember this from MCQ perspective. How we can prove that? Pause this video right now and think of different values of x and y and try to prove this reverse triangle inequality. How? Take both the positive values for x and y. What will you get? If you take both positive values, left, middle, right, separately solve them. So left inequality is true. If you take both negative values, again the left side, both these left sides will be same. They'll give you the same answer. If you take one positive and one negative, the right side of this inequality is going to be true. And if you take both of them equal with opposite signs, again the left side of the inequality, this becomes 0 and the right side, both are true. Both conditions are equal. They turn into an equality. And if one of these is 0, for example, y is 0, then that means all the three values become equal. So always remember, modulus of x minus y is less than equal to mod of x plus mod of y. Very important from MCQ perspective. Now let's understand how to solve questions related to modulus when it comes to questions where you have to find the solution for a modulus inequality. So the first step is check the sign that is given to you in the question, whether it is less than equal to or greater than equal to. Less than equal to or less than, treat it similarly. Greater than, treat it similarly. So if it is less than or less than equal to, what you do is split that function, write that function in this form. Whatever is the constant given to you, minus on the left side, positive on the right side, because it is referring to that area on the number line which is between these values of minus k and k. This is the modulus function. When the function is greater than, modulus of the function is greater than k, that means it is referring to this part of the number line which is greater than k and less than minus k. So this is your solution area. So you just need to remember these two steps when you start solving any question for modulus inequality. Look at the sign and accordingly change how the question has been written, and then it becomes very easy to solve the way we have been solving so many questions. So let's look at few questions related to modulus inequality. The first one is modulus of 7 minus 3x is less than 8. Now how do we solve that? Because it is less than equal to here, 8 here, that means it is referring to the solution set which is lying between minus 8 and 8. So let's write it as minus 8 less than equal to, because there was an equal to sign here also, so we'll use that. Minus 8 less than 7 minus 3x, and the second inequality will be 7 minus 3x less than equal to 8. Let's solve the first one. Minus 8 minus 7 less than equal to minus 3x minus 15 less than equal to minus 3x, and that means x. Now because again minus sign, be careful when there is a negative coefficient of x. So divide this by minus 3 throughout, the sign will flip. Less than equal to will become greater than. So that means 5 is greater than x. Okay, let's look at the other side. 7 minus 3x. So this is 7 minus 8 less than equal to 3x, minus 1 less than equal to 3x. So x is greater than equal to minus 1 by 3. Now let's plot them on the number line. On the number line, if you look at this, x is less than equal to 5. So it is left side of this number line. This is the solution. And x is greater than minus 1 by 3. So where is the common area? The common area is between minus 1 by 3 and 5. So let's write it minus 1 by 3 and 5. We just need to look at what brackets should be used. So it is going to be square brackets at both ends because we have equal to sign also. Right? So let's look at next question where we have greater than sign in place of less than sign. Now how do we break such a question? When we have such a question, that means you write the function once this is less than minus 7, and in the other part it is going to be 5 minus 2x is going to be greater than 7. So it is less than minus 7 and then greater than 7. So that means it is referring to what part on the number line? Less than minus 7 here and greater than 7 here. So it is the outbound area on the number line. In the previous question, because it was less than equal to, so it was the inner area. So let's solve both these inequalities. 15 minus 6x less than minus 7. That means 15 plus 7 is less than equal to 6x. 22 is less than equal to 6x. And x will be greater than equal to 11 by 3. Let's solve the other side also. It is 15 minus 6x greater than equal to 7. 15 minus 7 greater than equal to 6x. 15 minus 7 is 8. 8 by 6. That means x is less than equal to 4 by 3. Now again let's plot them on the number line. So the first solution says x is greater than 11 by 3. So let's put 11 by 3 here. So it is referring to right area on this, right side area. X is less than 4 by 3. So this is 11 by 3 and we have 4 by 3 here. Less than 4 by 3 means this area of the number line. So the solution set is going to be the union of these two. So how do we write that? Minus infinity till 4 by 3 and then union of 11 by 3 till infinity. So this is the final answer for this modulus inequality. Understood? Now here you don't have to find the common area, but you have to pick up both the areas and unite them together because it is modulus function. It is not a normal inequality question. So where you had two different inequalities, you solve them and find the common area. But here you have to write the union of all the solutions because these are like two different areas that you need to club for modulus sign. Next, the solution set of the inequation x minus 2 mod of x minus 2 less than 5. Now here it is less than 5. So what do we do for less than 5? Less than 5 means it is the area in between them. So let's try to understand from the number line x minus 2 is less than 5. So if x minus 2 is less than 5, x will be less than 7. So we get the upper limit 7. And if minus of x minus 2 is less than 5, we get minus x plus 2 less than 5 and 5 minus 2 is 3, minus x less than 3. Now dividing by minus sign changes it. So it is x greater than minus 3. So that means you have the two conditions, x is greater than -3 and x is less than 7. So the solution is going to be D part. The range is from -3 to 7 and there are no square brackets involved, so it's easier. Okay, next question. The question is modulus of x plus 1 upon x plus 1. Where this is greater than 0, x belongs to real numbers, then what is the solution set? What are the valid values for x? So as we can see, if x is positive, now there are three conditions. First thing is denominator should never be 0. Whenever you are given a polynomial, rational expression or something like this, a fractional expression, then the denominator should not be 0. That means x plus 1 can never be equal to 0, x can never be equal to -1. This is the first condition that we understand. This should not be 0. Now the answer of this inequality will depend on the sign of the denominator because the numerator is always going to be positive. So if x plus 1 is less than 0, if x is less than -1, then that means this is going to give you a negative answer. But we need greater than, so this is also not a valid case. Now if x plus 1 is greater than 0, that means x is greater than -1. If x is greater than -1, the denominator will give you something positive and the overall answer will be positive as needed by this greater than sign. So that means this is the only situation that you need to handle. So the solution set is going to be -1 till infinity, inclusive, not inclusive of -1. So circular bracket on both the ends. -1 till infinity. So that means the answer is option B. So that was all about numerical inequalities for class 12 applied maths. I hope you found the video useful. This is a snapshot of the formula sheet that I have for all the units, all the 8 units covered nicely. So you can find a copy of this formula sheet on my website, boundlessmaths.com. Also on my website, you can have, you will find the pre-practice questions for all the 8 units that you can practice all kind of questions, MCQs, assertion, reason, short, long answer, even the case studies, everything has been covered along with their solutions. And you can also get a copy of the question bank that covers all the CBSE sample paper questions and PYQs unit wise, solved unit wise, along with more important questions for practice that will help you prepare for the upcoming board exam. So hope you like the video. If you like the video, don't forget to click the like button, share the video with your friends who are preparing for the applied maths exam. Subscribe to my channel if not done so far. Till then, so see you in the next video. Till then, keep learning, keep watching and keep practicing questions from the website. All the best.